Now we're going to take a look at the proper workflow to set up sprite rendering. So what I'm going to do first, if I go to my composite view tab here, you can see that we just have a sprite sheet loaded in. We're actually going to access it directly in the shader, but I've loaded it into the comp context here just so we can see the image. It's a 6x6 2K sprite image where we have an animation that's going and looping from the beginning to end. So standard sprite setup. And so we've made that for you so we can dive right in and actually apply it. So I'm going to go back to my scene view. Let's go back to my object level, go into my simulation. And what I'm going to do is hit tab and type pop sprite. Okay. Let's slide that in here. Okay, so now if I open this up, we have a few different things. Now what the pop sprite node really just does is it basically just like adds a bunch of attributes automatically onto our points for us that then enable the sprite rendering. So by default, it's got its own sprite shop shader built in. So if I press play, we can see that we get this little smoke puff image. So at least we can see that things are working, but we're gonna take it a level further. And we have a custom shader we've built that's gonna make it look better and work with some other attributes that we've put on the geometry. But at least we can see sprite renderings working. Okay, so first off, let's delete that out and let's assign our shader, which is in shaders sprite. Now I'm going to delete out this sprite map. Okay, and now we're going to go to the mode and change it to sprite sheet. And we know we have a 6x6 sprite sheet. So 6, 6, and now let's play this back. Okay, so this is playing back a bit slowly because we have this big image and we're going to be cycling through it and everything, but at least we can start to see that now we have our custom sprite sheet playing. So now we want to have the sprite index change not only over time, but then actually be offset based on whatever point we're on. So we're not playing the exact same image from the sprite sheet on every particle at the same time. And we're going to make a really simple Vexpression that's going to allow that to happen. So I'm going to turn on Vexpressions. I'm going to click here, the drop-down menu preset pass-through, and that gives us our options here. So let me just open this up. And under texture index, we're going to make a super simple expression. It's going to be this, parenthesis at ID plus at capital F frame, close parenthesis, modulus 36. Okay, so this is basically just going to cycle through between 0 and 35 based on incrementing through frames and then basically also randomizing based on ID. So that's going to give us our texture index. Okay, and so now if I were to press play, again, this is still going to play back a little bit slowly here. And once we cache everything and get it working, we're going to be able to play this back smoothly. But now we have set up our texture index properly. If I go to my geometry spreadsheet and I go to my pop object and I go to geometry, scroll over here, let's go over to find it. We see we have our sprite shop there. And you can see that we have these sprite UVs, and these are the things that are automatically getting generated from our sprite sheet setup in the pop sprite node. And those are basically the results of the expression, because you can see as I step forward, these sprite UVs are changing. And that's basically it offsetting that texture map based on these UVs per frame. So it's cool. The pop sprite node builds all of that for us. Okay, so we've set up our particle system, we've shaped it a little bit, we've added our pop color, which we're going to use down the line to recolor everything, and we've added the sprite attributes we need with the pop sprite node. Now we're going to move on to actually caching these out, and we're going to do some more work to finally get these the way we want them to be.